These videos are going to be an ongoing conversation. In particular, I want to do things that I couldn't do in a Facebook post or comments in a thread or in a tweet. I want to talk about things in a little bit more depth and detail. These aren't going to be too long, but they're going to be more than just a soundbite. The first thing I want to talk about is taxes. And I want to do this because right now, as I record this, the House and Senate GOP is getting very close to passing a very bad tax bill. I don't want to talk specifically about the details of that, but I want to address something that I think is a major misconception that a lot of people have about taxes. And I hope that it will inform you. I hope it will at least be a jumping off point that will make you do more research and realize something that I think is actually pretty bad. So I'm not going to talk about anyone near the median household income, which is currently about $60K. I'm going to talk about two people and the taxes that they pay. One of them is somebody who has worked really hard. They have a family business. They're spending 80 hours a week building this thing, and they put years of sweat into it, and now they're making $1 million a year. It's a fair bit of money. They're paying the top income tax rate. The top federal income tax rate is 40%. Slightly less than that, but just about. Now, the way taxes are structured, that doesn't mean that they're paying $400K. They're paying 300 something. But let's just say a few $100K. Now, for them, $100K more or less, 10%, it's actually a really big deal. $100K when you're only making $1 million, it is life-changing. It really is. It's something that, it's more than the median household income, but it's enough for that person maybe pay for college or to help that at least, to make new investments in their business, to do things that they could otherwise not do. Now, let's consider also somebody who has inherited a lot of money. This is somebody who, from investment income that they've inherited, on shares that they've inherited, is making $100 million a year. This is not a fictitious random person that doesn't exist. This is a real kind of person. And quite a few of them actually exist, more than you would think. So this person's making $100 million a year. And because this is investment income and it's long-term investment income, they're paying the top long-term capital gains rate, which you might think is close to 40 or even more %. But in fact, it's 20%. So this person is paying $20 million a year, give or take. They're really paying a little bit less just in general, and they're paying less still probably because they have a good tax lawyer. They have at least a CPA or two who's helping them hide money. But let's just say they're paying $20 million. So proportionally, they are paying half what that hardworking person making $1 million a year is making, or is paying in. Worse than this, when you're making $100 million, $10 million, which is 10% of your income, it's a lot of money for sure, but $10 million isn't going to substantially change their life. It's not going to really impact the way they live, their standard of living, anything like that. Maybe it's being able to buy an extra beach house or an extra plane or something that is a ridiculous luxury. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to afford ridiculous luxuries if you have enough money to do them, but I am saying that they're getting 20% less tax than, or they're paying rather 20% less tax than the person who's making $1 million a year. And they could easily afford to be paying 30% more or even 40% more. When you're making $100 million a year, you could be paying $60 million in taxes. You'd still have a very lavish lifestyle, be extremely comfortable, and you would be paying a reasonable amount. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people start getting a little bit fuzzy on, because these numbers sound fake. They sound like, how can you even think about having $100 million a year? Well, there are a lot of people that make that. And it doesn't even take that many who make $100 million a year or more to offset many, many people, thousands of people making the median household income. So these people really matter. This tax bill that I'm talking about, it does not really help you if you're making less than about $500,000 a year. You might get $100 back. You'll get a small tax break. That tax break, by the way, is not permanent. It's going to go away. But you get this little token amount of money. When you start getting into serious money, though, especially like you're making $10 million, $100 million, $1 billion a year, this tax bill will help you a lot. So what it does is basically take from the people who are most in need, the people who really can't afford it, and it uses the money that it takes from them to give a giant tax break to people who could afford to pay more, who would not really suffer from it, and who frankly are already not paying their fair share. Think about that.